What's happening, folks? Gigi here. Yes, that's right. Another B-Sides and Rarities episode of Shift Happens. And tonight we have a very special guest. This show can go in so many different directions. I can't wait to see what happens here. And we have none other than Darren. No, not Darren McClure. The other Darren from Internet Somalia. By the way, Darren, what is your last name?
Tegewald.
What the fuck did you say?
Tegewald. Heg about it.
Tanglewald? Tanglewald. So you're like tangled. So you're pretty much like you're sort of tangled in a wall.
It actually means hunter in the woods.
Ah, I totally didn't get that. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway. Oh my goodness, I cracked myself up. Alright, so we're here tonight. We might, I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm pretty sure, didn't you, not like me for a while? And talked a lot of shit to me, but then eventually you kind of didn't hate me as much as you do now.
I think we've done 3 shows together.
Yeah,
and all 3 of them we had like 5 of us there, and I couldn't get a word in edgewise, and it was frustrating. So this is great.
Yeah, and honestly, I will admit, probably a lot of that was my fault because I can't stop talking. So I do apologize about that. But
and you
yeah,
kept thinking I was Dennis.
That's a very good point. I kept confusing you with Dennis. Which, by the way, who is that Dennis? What's his last name?
Dennis Dyke or Dyche.
Wait, see, that's very confusing because we have another Dennis. His last name is
Koch.
Or Koch, yeah, whatever, yeah. So when you say Dennis Dyke and I know Dennis Koch, it kind of,
I've talked to Dennis, the other Dennis, on the air once for a couple hours. I think it was on Joe Rupe's show.
Wait, which Dennis?
The other Dennis Koch. Yeah. Isn't he in Northern California?
I don't know where he is, but I love that guy because he goes out of his way to make the most elaborate social media promotions for a show. Like, I swear to God, he'll tag like 55 different tag words, and I've never seen anybody put that much effort into promoting anything, much less somebody promoting something that's not even his. So thank you, Dennis. Cheers to you right there. But
let me take the show out. Can you post it in the Discord?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I can do that now. Let me do this. Oh shit! I put it on the main channel. Fuck! I really fucked up.
That's okay. We can do this, man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to move it to the other channel after we're done, which is not that big of a problem.
Why Shift Happens has started?
Oh my God! There's a chance that the Fringe FM is gonna try to play a replay, and they might accidentally pick this up. So
shut it down?
No, we're already doing this, so it's too late. It's probably like a 5% chance that the Fringe is actually gonna play our replay during the time that we're doing this show. So I'm not very worried. But if that does happen, I am fucked for sure.
Are you committed for like 3 hours or something?
No, it's just that, we're not allowed to cuss on the network, which if the network by default, picks up our channel and decides to play one of our replays, it's going to play this if that happens now.
No,
So,
we'll keep it clean. I don't cuss a lot.
well, I usually do, I don't cuss on the regular show, but in real life I cuss pretty much like every 5 seconds. So, but anyway,
We'll do a regular real show.
okay, let's kind of try to do that. Although I already said fuck like 3 times. Well, that's 4 now. All right, so all right, I'm gonna share the link in Discord. There you have it. All right.
No.
And with that said, so very, very first question: how did you get associated with this group of crazy shit-talking people? Sorry, that's the only way to explain it. How did you get involved with Internet Somalia?
Well, I used to be on Richard Hoagland's show after Art Bell.
What?
Yeah, I was on there. Like, I'd call every night. Sometimes he'd just leave me on there for like an hour and a half with him, and we'd just shoot the ball. And he had a lot of listeners. We were on 2 terrestrials, and I mean, there was a lot of people because Art was still on at the time.
Well, yeah, that was quite literally the biggest show at the time as far as our industry is concerned.
Right. So
yeah.
I was kind of well known on there.
Well, how come?
And then Wolfman would call in, and one night Wolfman and I were on at the end of the show together, and then we just stayed on Skype talking to each other. And he said, "I'm going to start a show," and I go, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, you should come on with me." And I think I joined his 3rd show, and then we had like 5 people on. We had Marcus Aurelius, we had Jeff the Gray, me, and pretty soon it was just Wolfman and I. We were doing the Monster Castle Paranormal show.
Oh, you're that dude. I'm sorry. I'm just now realizing that you're that Darren.
Yes, that's me.
Oh my god, dude. We've, like you said before we started the, god damn it, before we started the show, you mentioned yeah, we've been on multiple shows together at the same time before now. I never, and once again, I was talking to Wolfman like 2 hours ago, and he brought you up, and I still didn't put together until just now. I finally know who you are.
All right, so you got the two names together.
All right. My brain is starting to work now. Yes.
Yeah,
dude.
then,
how I feel like I should apologize for not realizing that earlier. I think I kind of feel bad about that. How did anyway? But yeah,
I was like the guy with all the questions on the Monster Castle. So I'd ask the questions, and he'd be like ask questions and do the comic part, and then it was a pretty good mix. We had a good show. I don't know if you've listened to any of the.
Yeah, no, I used to. Yeah, I heard a lot of the. You know, it's been a while since you've been a part of that show, I think, right?
Well, it's been a while since we've done it, but we've done it the last 2 weekends, and I thought they were pretty good shows.
Well, let me put it this way. I've been on Wolfman's show at least 7 or 8 times, and you were not there on any of those, so that's why, you know, I didn't.
Yeah, those are the drunk shows in the last like 6 months, right?
Most of them were drunk shows. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
In
I'm
fact,
not a big fan
there were
of the
two.
drunk.
There were 2 of them where. Don't get me wrong. I love Wolfman. He's awesome, but I have to admit he passed out during like 2 of those shows, and then me and JP or whoever else was on there, we just kept doing like we just took over the show, and it was hilarious.
It is, but that's not what we were doing before. And like the last 2 weekends, he's been great. So we'll see if we can keep.
Yeah, and speaking of which, by the way, I'm actually going to be the guest on that show tomorrow. So, and by tomorrow, I mean...
So this is like a preamble.
Yeah, and so tomorrow is going to be... Well, it's actually today now. So whenever you're listening to this is happening at 1 in the morning on November 30th. So November 30th, look for Wolfman Mike show. And yeah, I'm going to be, because we do our show right before that. As soon as my show ends, well,
Okay.
actually, we have, I don't know, it's a long story. We have this little Patreon thing where people can pay to hang out with us after the show. So basically, I have to wait an extra hour, and then I will join Wolfman's show. We tried to work it out as best as we can. We're not sure how it's going to happen. Worst case scenario, I might not be there for the first hour, but I will be on there for the rest of the show until Mike probably, passes
Sounds
out,
good.
and then I take over. So, yeah, that is all happening today. Depends on who you ask.
So, to get back to your question about the internet Somalia,
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, Stabby started a Discord for Monster Castle and his favorite show, which is the Debbie Daily Show, and he put us together in this Discord.
Oh.
And so,
Yeah.
we joined the Discord, and then of course nobody got along. And then Stabby shut the damn thing down, and then I started a Discord, and I had a lot of people in there. Probably not as many as Internet Somalia, but I was a bit too. What's the word? I'd kick people out. Shit.
I know exactly what you mean.
Off,
Yeah.
and then I just got fed up, and then I just shut it down, and then Apocalypse started Internet Somalia, and then it's just kind of gone from there, and that's where it is now.
Dude, and I have to say, I honestly, I don't even remember how I got invited to the Internet Somalia, but I do know when I first joined, I hopped, I feel really bad, but I don't know the name of any of the shows that I go on all the time through Internet Somalia. I know there's Mr. Midnight Movie, but that's not. I hardly ever do that one. There's
Dark Show.
There's
And
the
then
other
JP
one that I
has his
do.
own show.
Yeah, what's JP shows?
JP Presents, I think.
No, but there's another one he does. What's the other one? Or maybe it's not him. Anyway, well, that's my point. Is I don't know what show I've been on like 17 times, but yeah, every once in a while I pop in there, I see what's up, somebody's doing a show. Well, half of the time it's Debbie Daily, and then the other half of the time it's whatever that other show is. But when I first joined, quite literally, talk about sarcasm and shit talking. That is basically the theme of this Discord group. And if you can't keep up with the punches, let's put it this way.
It takes a while. It takes a while to get it.
Yeah, it does. But luckily I grew up with the same kind of people. So as soon as I got in, I was like, oh my God, it's a shit talking fest. I am fully prepared for this. And it took about a week or two for them to realize that, I could keep up with the punches. But after that, because, for example, a friend of mine, actually, I won't mention his name, but he actually tried to complain to JP or whoever's show it was because he was trying to defend me because everybody was talking shit to me, but he didn't realize that we were all joking. You know what I mean? That's how gnarly it gets. We talk so much shit all day, every day, that, yeah, if you're not fully initiated, it might actually sound like we hate each other. but really, it's every day I look forward to opening that Discord. I can't wait to see who said what, and I always come up with something to say. It's
Stabby and Debbie were just fighting like crazy. I think it was this morning. And then when she left, he goes, well, Debbie and I had our rut.
Yeah, there are some actual real fights that do happen once in a while, which is inevitable when you get this sort of group of people in one chat channel and everybody's talking shit to everybody. Yeah, it's going to happen. But
yeah, I swear it seems like Discord can't be more than 40 people, or it just seems to implode, and then people will make their own Discord and it just splinters,
Yeah.
That's why it's nice to try to keep one, for God's.
Well, I think we've done a pretty good job of keeping this one together. We've got at least probably, like you said, there's at least like 30 or 40 people that are in it. There's probably realistically about 10 or 15 that talk regularly every day.
Or chat regularly.
Which actually I'm probably not even included in that. I don't always have time to jump in here, but at least once a week I like to jump in and see who's talking shit and try to talk shit back. But
what day is shift happens on? Thursday?
It's every Friday night from 7 to 9 Pacific on the
That's right.
on the Fringe FM. Yeah.
It's just the one.
Yeah, that's our main show we do once a week. We're actually about to launch our Patreon situation tomorrow. We've been working on this for months. We've got so many bonus episodes, video remotes, all kinds of extra bonus shit that we're putting out tomorrow.
Who's your favorite guest you've ever had?
100% hands down, Michael Cramo, for sure.
That's an ancient.
He wrote the book Forbidden Archaeology.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, it was really because back at that time when we had him on the show, I didn't have what's a good way to say this? I didn't have the connections that I have now. Like, I just randomly, there was very little chance that anybody would respond to that email request, but his manager got right back to me and she was like, all right, we're down. I'm like, wow, really? Okay. And then we did the show, and it turns out that, well, first of all, Michael is cool as fuck. Second of all, we hung out after the show on the air, well, not on the air, but over Skype for like an hour after the show, and we just clicked. And it was that, I've known about his work for like most of my life. He's kind of like basically in my eyes, he's like a celebrity. And then for one, he came on the show. For two, he actually had a good time, and I cracked a couple of jokes. I made him laugh a few times. And then for three, we hung out after the show and had a good time there too. And that was absolutely number one best. Very close second would be Greg Braden. And yeah, close second, Greg Braden.
What's he talk about? I don't know if I know that person.
Greg Braden. He wrote the for one, the book called The Divine Matrix. You definitely know who he is if you just pull up your browser, type in Greg Braden, but it's spelled like Braden, not Braden, like Braden. But I guess he pronounces it wrong. I don't know. But anyway, Greg Braden, look him up. If you see his face, I guarantee you will know who he is. What's ironic is the thing he's most known for is back in 2007, he gave I'm not even kidding, a 4-hour lecture, which they actually, it was so long they had to take a break halfway through. Everybody got lunch, and then they came back, and then they continued the lecture. And that lecture got illegally, somebody filmed it and illegally made DVDs and was selling it on Amazon for years. And that's what most people know him from, is from that. and it was on YouTube for years. They finally took it down. And so when I got Greg Braden on the show, luckily, we do a sound check before the show. And so we're talking before the show. And I was like, dude, I've got to say, that DVD you did changed my life. And he was like, and yeah. And then he was like, dude, yeah, no, we didn't. That was never supposed to be released. We actually sued that guy and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad I brought that up before the show.
I know. That's awful.
Like,
bury yourself before the show starts.
But at the same time, it's anybody that's interested. I'm pretty sure Greg Braden's not going to listen to this, so I'm not very worried. But I do have the DVD ripped onto my computer, so if anybody wants to see that, anybody that's listening to this, just email me at gg@shifthappenspodcast.com, and I will send you the link because it is so fucking powerful, son. One of the best presentations.
What's he talking about? Can you, paraphrase what it was about?
That's pretty hard to do.
Just general.
Basically, he goes into the actual science of how, basically, he redefines the term prayer. Most people, when they think of praying, they think of just saying words to whoever they think they're saying it to, and that's all it is. But there's actually an actual technique where you align the frequency of your heart with the frequency of your brain, and you project that into the universe, which is very different than just saying, what's the...
It's like being a part of the bigger piece, huh?
It's very different than just saying God is great, God is good, let us thank him for our food, fuck you, amen. Like, that doesn't do anything. But what he's talking about is literally aligning it all has to do with aligning your heart and your brain and getting them on the same frequency. And once you do that, it's kind of similar to the oh my fuck, what's it called? Jesus. The Secret, the book, The Secret. That thing that they talk about in there? Do you know what I'm talking about?
What is The Secret?
Oh God. Okay. Well, anyway, okay. Here's the kicker of the whole thing is they show footage of this actually happened. It's fully documented. He presented it in that presentation, which actually this is the main reason why the bootleg DVD was killed, because they showed footage that even they never got permission to use. And the footage was this. So there's what they call medicineless hospitals in China, which means there's no drugs, no medicine. It's just a place where they heal people using what I can only describe as shamanistic techniques. So there was one lady who, she was from America. She went to all the Western, What
was wrong with her?
Well, she had a tumor in her brain. And so she went to a bunch of different clinics in America. They all told her the same thing, we can't do anything about this. You're gonna die. And so as a last resort, a friend of hers told her that there's these crazy people in China that heal people without medicine. And, she had nothing to lose, so she went out there. And so what happened is, they lay her down in a bed. 3 shamans show up, and they start chanting something. Obviously, it wasn't an English word, but here's what Greg Braden describes is, it doesn't matter what the word is. It only matters what all 3 of the shamans have intended that word to mean. So in other words, they could be saying lamp, they could be saying oatmeal, they could be saying any word, but it's the meaning that they attributed to the word, which the meaning that they attributed to the word was not she's gonna be healed, not she will be healed, not she's almost healed, but she is already healed. Very specifically, she is already healed. That belief and that intention, directed by masters of consciousness that are shamans. And here's the beautiful part, is they recorded it with a sonogram. So they have, and on the video, they show two different sonogram screens. They show the sonogram before the session started, and then on the right, they have another live sonogram of what happened during that time. What
happened to the tumor?
Within 3 fucking minutes. 3 minutes. The tumor, you literally can watch it live shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink until the point where it wasn't fucking there within 3 fucking minutes. And they do that all day, every day at that hospital in China. But nobody fucking knows about it, especially Americans, because America wants to make sure that nobody knows about that, because that's going to crash the whole Western, radiation therapy fucking bullshit cancer treatment that we do over here.
I wish I would have known about that before I had my brain surgery.
Dude, what? Okay, hold on. First of all, definitely send me your, I don't know, give me your email address or something, because I've got the whole thing.
I definitely want to see this.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, you need to see this. So I want to share that with you. So after the show, just I'll give you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you in the Discord.
Actually, yeah, there you go. That'll work.
I'll PM you.
But wait a minute, you just said you had a. What the fuck did you say? You said you had a brain tumor?
Yeah, I had a brain tumor.
What?
Removed about 9 years.
Huh. That's, first of all,
not in the brain matter. It was in my pituitary gland, and it was not cancerous. It's benign, but it was in like a
so it's
problematic area.
It was basically just a thing that was in the way of your brain.
Yeah, it was in the pituitary gland, and my pituitary functions were limited. The pituitary is like the size of a.
Wait, okay, so hold on. What?
It's not very big.
What does the what part of the brain, or what is the
pituitary is in the exact center of your noggin, very middle.
And what
part? The master gland. It controls all the other glands.
So that's like the central control center of your whole brain.
For the endocrine system, yeah.
And they just removed it, and you're fine now.
Well, I have to take all these pills.
What kind of pills?
I'm way better off than I was before.
But it's gone, right? It's gone?
Well, the tumor is taken it out of it. Part of the pituitary is still there. I have a little bit of function with certain things, but for the most part, yeah, I have to take pills.
What kind of pills are they? Are they like antibiotics or?
No, it regulates the water. I have to take desmopressin and levoxythrone. All these different. I have like 5 different pills. I have to take every day.
Dude, have you ever heard of C60, carbon 60?
No.
All right, I'm about to change your life. In 2 days, I am going to mail you some carbon 60. One of the sponsors of our show, that's what they make, and that's what we promote. And it's basically, it's really, okay, so the initial studies on carbon 60 was kind of ironic. Initially, they were trying to see how they could use carbon-60 to kill rats as fast as possible. But it turns out that carbon-60 actually made them live longer. So then they did more studies, like what the fuck is going on here? And so they took one set of baby mice and one set of older mice. And, okay, actually, I'm going to read this.
They gave the old mice carbon-60 and they outlived the babies.
Well, yes, exactly. And not only that, but so right away they realized, like, it's funny because they initially intended it to be a weapon, but it turned out to be, like, it. Long story short, it decalcifies your pineal gland, which means you quite literally, it reverses the aging process. Like, the more calcified your pineal gland is, the older you are. But if you decalcify the pineal gland, your body literally gets younger. It gets back to the way it used to be. And
how long has this stuff been out?
It's, if you talk to like Dr. Richard Allen Miller, he'll tell you that he's been working with it since like the 70s, but it's only been publicly available for purchase for like maybe a year and a half. It's pretty new.
Have you taken it or seen anybody that takes it?
I take it. I take it every day. Like I said, our show is sponsored by one of the major companies that produces it. And in fact, he's actually going to be the guest on our show tomorrow. So if you want to hear more about that, definitely tune in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And no, it's amazing. I mean, because the first time I got it, it was from another company, which actually we had that guy on the show too. His name is Ken Powers from Purple Power C60. Dude, my brain sucks. Ken Powers from C60 Purple Power. There it is. And so he sent me a bottle after that show. And so, on the back it says, take 1 tablespoon. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take 6. And sure enough, it turns out you cannot take too much of it. Like, literally, you could drink like 2 gallons of it and it will only help you. Like, you can't, there's no such thing as taking too much of it. It only
it's like
helps you.
Water soluble vitamins.
It
can't overdo.
So basically what it does, for one thing, your brain just functions better. Your synapses fire quicker. Your brain is just working quicker. Everything's working better. It also, it completely kickfucks any sort of free radicals in your system. It gets them out of there. It realigns the energy of your body. It's like a total reboot for your body. And if you do that every day, for one thing, you will notice you don't have to sleep as much. You're just going to wake up a couple hours early and be fully rested. That's because, of the C60 providing the extra healing for you. It also provides the absolute best radiation protection, which, for example, I'm out here in Oceanside, California, and right over here, like 45 minutes away, is the San Onofre nuclear plant, which there is some unbelievably retarded, terrible mistakes that are being made over there, which we're going to talk about tomorrow night on the show. And not just that, I mean, Fukushima what was that, back in 2011? If you don't think that every bit of seafood that you eat today is fully radiated, then you are mistaking yourself. Fukushima has spread to everywhere at this point. Any seafood you get, it's radiated. It's even worse than that. Everything is fucking radiated. But C60 actually, because once again, let's go back to the mouse test. The whole point was, they were trying to. Basically, what they found out is C60 prevents any sort of repercussions from having exposure to radiation. Or, in other words, radiation does not affect you if you are fully supplied with C60. And on top of that, if you actually look at the molecule on a molecular level, it's literally a perfect phi golden ratio pattern, which has never been seen before in one single element. I don't know if that made any sense, but
sure.
Yeah, no, it's really good stuff, and yeah, I'll definitely, like I said, I'm gonna get some more product in a couple of days. I'll make sure to send you one.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, once again, just put your email in the Discord, and I'll get in touch with you about that in the next couple of days. But yeah, it's really amazing stuff, and
have you?
Go ahead.
Have you heard about? This is a total switch of topic, but have you heard of graphene?
No, I haven't.
So it's a single atom. I can't even explain it. It's basically a carbon sheet of just single atoms, and they figured it out in 2004, but they couldn't. It's stronger. It's like stronger than Kevlar, stronger than steel, stronger than everything, but it would never mix with water. So that in about 2011, they found it in 2004 how to extract it, and in 2011 they figured out how to mix it with like rubber and other stuff like that, and they're starting to make like bicycle frames out of it. So it's like mixed with the carbon fiber, and it's like 100 times stronger. And they're starting to mix it with tires, and the tires last way, way longer. Have you heard of this stuff? It's incredible.
No, I can't believe I haven't. What?
You can Google search it. Just write it down. You can look at it later. Graphene.
Okay,
It's made out of graphite.
Jot that down right now.
Oh, it's incredible stuff. They say it's gonna revolutionize things here in the next 5 years. Now that they figured out how to mix it with stuff.
Wow. Okay, so it's a good thing we did this show. You know about C60 now, and now I know about graphene. Good deal.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got it.
Oh, did you see the Tesla Tower in Milford, Texas that I posted?
No, and I'm surprised I don't know where Milford, Texas is, because I grew up in Texas.
It's like a small town just north of Dallas. And they put up this Tesla tower, and everyone's like, what the hell is this? It's right next to the freeway, and it's basically a Tesla tower. I posted it in the Discord. I'm kind of surprised you didn't see it. Just Google search Milford Tesla Tower, and you'll see it.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking. First of all, the map of Milford is... That little town is probably not much bigger than my whole apartment complex that I live in right now. It's a very small town. Yeah. And, yeah, I didn't... Dude, once again, good information. Killing it. You're killing it right now.
Yeah, I noticed that this week, and
oh, that's, dude,
it's quite interesting. It's basically a Tesla tower. They're going to try to, just have the electricity come through that thing and test it out for, I think it's for communication.
Well, I mean, I don't know for sure, but it probably is for, free energy, just pulling electricity out of the atmosphere, which Nikola, if you go into Nikola Tesla's, life and history, he was inventing all kinds of shit and it was all good, but then all of a sudden he introduced not just the idea, he figured he totally figured it out. He was like, hey, we don't need to fucking have power lines. We can just pull electricity from the air. But all the corporations were like, well, we can't make money off of free energy, so fuck you. And they shut him down, and that was the end of Tesla. So I'm surprised that anybody is funding the same very thing that they shut him down for.
Yeah, take a look. It has the company, and it has the company's goals and why they built it and what they're hoping for. It's all right there.
Wait, what's the... Yeah, in fact, if you type in Milford, Texas, and then just start typing Tesla, before you can finish the word Tesla, it will auto-correct you Milford, Texas, Tesla Tower. So you can't miss it.
Yeah, and then you can look up the company, and then what you can... Maybe you could find it right now and read off what their goal is.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Do you know the name of the company? Off your...
I forget. There's a name there. It's attached.
Well, at least we said it and we got that out there. But yeah, no, there's a whole full page of Google links of a bunch of people talking about this. I can't believe.
Well, yeah, could you imagine living there, like right by it, and they put up this big thing? You're like, oh my god, what is this? Is this safe? Yeah. You know, you'd be like,
man, I'll tell you what, dude. I saw the strangest fucking thing I've ever seen. Let's see. 2 days ago. So I'm outside my complex because my internet was broken, like I think I mentioned earlier. And so long story short, I have to go to the other side of the parking lot in order to get reception on my phone. So I'm sitting out there. I'm on the phone. And I see this, first of all, we're right next to Camp Pendleton. That's a pretty, keep that in mind. We're right next to a Marine base, and they're doing all kinds of weird shit all the time. Nobody knows what they're doing. But I see this monstrosity of an aircraft flying extremely low right over my head. Like I'm like maybe 300 feet at tops. It might have been lower than that. It was pretty fucking low. And I can only describe it as, so imagine a regular airplane, and obviously it would have a left wing and a right wing. Well, take away the wings and put a whole nother airplane attached to the left side and a whole nother airplane attached to the right side, all joined together, soaring across the sky 300 feet above your head. Like, that's probably not what it was, but that's what it looked like.
Did it have was it like two airplanes combined? Did it have two noses?
No, it was basically it was a main airplane, and then there was an airplane on each side of it that was connected to it, and it was all flying together as one piece of...
Well, they're supposed to be starting that. The biggest plane in the world looks like that. Have you seen that? The two-nose plane? Did it have two noses or three?
Well, there three, but there was... Okay, let me put it this way. The main plane in the middle was twice as big as the two planes that were attached to the side of it. But once again, I'm not saying that those were actual planes attached to it. I'm just saying that's what it looked like. I don't know what it was, but that's the best way I could possibly describe what it looked like, if that makes sense.
Okay, I think I might know what it is. It's the biggest plane in the world, which they're starting to fly. It's got two noses, and it rides in the middle a huge rocket.
Oh.
Have you seen this?
That kind of makes sense. No, I haven't seen that, though.
They go up to about 38,000 feet, and then they launch the rocket, and they've been testing it lately. It's the biggest plane in the world. Just look for the biggest plane in the world, and you'll see it.
Okay,
and
hold on.
It's supposed to carry a rocket in the middle. They actually drive the plane from the right nose cone.
Damn, that might actually be it. Yeah, and that's the other thing is it was going so slow it didn't even look real. Like, I couldn't believe that thing didn't just fall to the ground because it was moving so slow. I don't know how.
It's because it's so big. It had jet sound though.
It did, but it wasn't. It was surprisingly not as loud as even a regular plane. That was the other weird thing. It was like, how is this big thing right here, right above my head, barely making any noise, and it looks like a Frankenstein contraption of an aircraft? Like, it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, see, I'm pulling a picture of it. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. I don't.
Did you find?
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
Biggest plane in the world.
Yeah, I see, I'm looking at it, and no, that's not what I saw. It was something else. It was something else for sure. No, because I see what you're saying now that I'm looking at the picture. But no, this was way scarier looking than that.
Maybe it's a top secret plane then.
Well, that's the thing is Camp Pendleton is right here, which is one of the most major Marine bases. And here's the thing that people don't understand about the Marines. First of all, our audience knows this, but I'm sure I've never told you this or had a chance to. And that is one of my best friends that I grew up with all my life. We grew up skateboarding together and everything. He's actually in the Marines now and has been for about 9 or 10 years. And he's in the MARSOC program, which most people don't know what that is. To put that in perspective, you know how the Navy has the Navy SEALs and they have SEAL Team 6, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Marines has the MARSOC program, which is, to put it in perspective, the MARSOC... I've never heard of it. Nobody has, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point. They don't want anybody to know it exists. But the MARSOC program makes SEAL Team 6 look like a bunch of choir boys compared to, let's put it this way, the training that they go through to get into the MARSOC program is literally everything that they have to go through is literally illegal. Not only nationally, but internationally. It's against every form of human rights violations you can possibly imagine. In other words, they make them go through...
torture these poor bastards.
Yes, they torture them so much so that the reason why they do it is so that if they actually do get caught and get tortured, they've already been through worse before in training, so they're not going to break. That's the whole point. And I will probably be shot in the head in 10 seconds if I actually explain what they do go through. But he did have one chance to tell me what he went through, and I heard all that. But anyway, bottom line is, here's the difference between the Marines and the other three branches of military. Obviously, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and then I guess the Coast Guard too. But so let's say the Navy or the Army, they get some intel and they want to make a move. They want to hit something. They want to attack something. Well, they have to fucking call Congress, and then they got to agree on shit, and then they got to call somebody else, and they have to agree on that. And then finally it gets to the president, and then he has to decide with his other guy, are they going to do that or what? But with the Navy, with the Marines, the Marines have a direct line to the president. They don't have to go through all that bullshit. If they want to make a move, they call the president on the spot, say, hey, we're about to bomb the shit out of this place. Is that okay with you? And then the president says yes, and then they move. That's how, the military is almost... I want to make sure to not say this the wrong way, but the Marines are basically they're their own. They're not controlled by America. They are their own entity. They are fighting on the side of America, but they don't have to abide by any of America government laws. They do what they want, basically.
It's always been, the Marines have always been weird. I mean, Marine, doesn't that mean sea? What does Marine mean?
Well, you know what gets really weird is, so there's another, this actually freaked me out so much that I actually left my friend's house and went back home because I was visiting him at the time. And so he got a bunch of awards. First of all, the one I should probably mention is he got the what's called the Gung Ho Award, which means all of the people that made it into the MARSOC program. And once again, that's like being in SEAL Team 6, but in the Marines, and better than that. All of the people that were in that program, they all vote every year who is the number one badass of Special Ops Marines. And my friend got that reward. So he is the number one fucking Special Ops Marines guy. So that's pretty fucking insane. But also, way before you get to that point, you're supposed to get what they call the Shellback certificate or the Shellback award or whatever the fuck they call it. But basically, what happens is they take you out on a ship and they go just past the equator. There's a certain area where no country's laws apply. So, in other words, you're outside of any sort of legal laws whatsoever. And once they take you back there, they beat the fuck out of you. They kick the fuck out of you. They torture you. They do all kinds of bullshit. And in fact, there's been so many, not only cases, there's been many lawsuits over the last 50 years because several people have died during the process of just trying to become a shellback, much less make it into the MARSOC program. And he told me every detail about all of that, which, first of all, he wasn't allowed to tell me in the first place, and therefore I'm definitely not going to go into any detail because that would fuck both of our lives up. But it's pretty insane. So with that said...
Can you look up... Is that online at all?
I took... Well, here's the weirdest part. Getting back to the Shellback Award, even if you just make it through that, it is the strange... Because they give you a... what do you call it? Like a plaque. A big thing and a picture frame, and you hang it on your wall. It's a big deal. And... but what is actually said on that thing is... the strangest shit I've ever read. It actually freaked me out so much that I left 2 days early because, first of all, I was staying at Camp, Pendleton with my friend. It was already weird, and then I read that thing. I was like, holy shit, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Was it like New World Order kind of stuff, or...
Even crazier than that? They're talking about I do have I took a picture of it and I saved it somewhere. I can't. I will find it. I promise you, I will find it and I will send it to you eventually. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'm gonna get in trouble tonight. Yeah, I'll send it to you eventually. But basically, it talks about I'm
gonna have Men in Black at the door tomorrow morning.
Dude, no, it's weirder than that. They're talking about all different kinds of not only aliens but sea gods, and here's the weirdest part. I can't even explain how weird the wording is throughout the whole thing. But at the very end, it's there's the whoever's in charge of the whole, I don't know what the term is, but we have the president of the USA. Well, whoever the president of the Marines is apparently not the top guy, because he signs the left side of it, but on the right side, somebody named Neptunus something whatever is signs the right side of it. I shit you not. And if you look it up, it's some sort of ancient Greek god, and it gets really deep and weird. Like, the Marines literally believe in all of this, like, ancient sea monster.
Probably some alien that sits at some desk signs.
I swear, like, I can't recall what his last name was, but for sure his first name was Neptunus, and his last name was something else. And that's the signature that matters. If you don't have that signature, you are not certified as not only a shellback, much less being in Special Ops Marines. And they are, once again, they're taken out to sea. Nobody knows what the fuck happens to them. Some of them come back alive, some of them don't. And, well, I know what happens to them, but I can't. I'm very tempted right now to tell you what happens, but I really should not. I can't. Yeah. No, I can't.
I want to be alive tomorrow. It's okay. Don't tell me.
Well, I could tell you in person, just not like live on the radio.
Let's just pretend you're not going to tell me in person.
Yeah, I'm definitely never going to tell you ever. So make sure you get my phone number so that I can never tell you.
This is like the Bohemian Grove people.
Yeah, no, it's the weird, dude. Think about the show that I do and the shit that we talk about on this show. Like, you would think I've heard every weird thing ever. This trumps anything I've ever heard anybody talk about ever.
That is really, really weird.
It is so fucking sketchy, dude. In fact, my friend is actually, I think in about 2 weeks, after 10 years, he's finally done. He's getting the fuck out of there because, man, I really wish I could tell you.
I find that hard to believe they'd ever let him go.
He fought to get out of there. It wasn't that easy. They were trying to get him to join the CIA, and that was kind of his plan for a while. But he finally came to his senses and was like, dude, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And so that's what he's doing.
Can I ask you this question? Does he believe in UFOs?
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely, and he believes in more than that. Put it that way.
The person I know that's in the military, let's see, I'm trying to think. I know two different people that were really high up, and I've asked both, and both basically wouldn't answer me, but gave me the impression that there were, and I was just like, fuck. So it's like you just wish they could speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's and that brings up. Oh, by the way, I just Rachel just was in the chat room earlier. I totally was not looking at the chat room. I didn't see you there.
Snarky,
so
Rachel?
Yeah, snark it. Yeah. So hey, what's up, Rachel? Thanks for listening. Sorry I didn't respond to you like 10 minutes ago. I just wasn't looking.
Is she the only one in there?
Well, she was in here. I don't know if she's here now because I didn't respond, so she might have left. But I don't know. By the way, Rachel, once again, if you are still listening, I did not forget about the products that I was supposed to send you. I am supposed to be restocked on that tomorrow, but that is very dependent on multiple factors. I don't know if that's actually going to happen because, like I told you last time, I was supposed to have it 2 weeks ago. Anyway, don't worry, Rachel. I got you covered. As soon as I get it, I will send it to you. Don't worry. I have not forgotten. Now, with that said, wait, hold on. I had such a good point to make. What was the last thing you said?
I can't remember. We're talking about the Bohemian Grove, the Neptunus. What else we talk about?
I had such a good. I know it was really good. I don't remember.
See, that's why you don't look at the chat. It just ruins the show.
Dude, yeah, that's. Yes.
At least Debbie's not in there.
See you. That's that is a good joke that I can't really acknowledge for various political reasons.
Destroy our chat room.
But yeah, no, dude, there's some serious weird fucking shit that's like right in our fucking face and nobody knows about it.
Did you know that the Van Allen belt touches down in one part of the Atlantic Ocean?
No. What?
Yeah. There's a place in the Atlantic Ocean where sometimes the Van Allen belt will come through the atmosphere and actually touch the ocean.
I don't even... I hear what you're saying, but I'm having a hard time understanding what that means.
No, it's just extra radiation.
So a stream of radiation touches the Atlantic Ocean physically.
In this one spot, yeah. Sometimes.
How often does that happen? First of all, I can't believe I've never heard about this. Second of all, how often does this happen?
I just read about it this week.
Well, dude, you gotta send me an article or something.
Well, I'll look it up. Read it off.
Yeah, I guess I could look it up. But that's another thing. Okay, let's go here. Let's go here right now. The Apollo missions. Your opinions. Go.
Which one? I can tell you all about them.
Mainly...
You want to talk about Apollo 12?
Mainly the, Neil Armstrong and Buzz and Collins.
Apollo 11?
Yeah, that one.
What do you want to know?
I just want to know what you think.
We went to the moon.
Do you think
I think there were spacecraft up there? Maybe. Do I think there's ancient stuff on the moon? Yes, I do. But I think we did go to the moon. I think we probably had a contingency plan in case we failed to maybe fake it or something, but we made it, man. We did it.
Well, here's the thing. We may or may not have gone to the moon. But here's one thing that is for sure, is that basically all of the footage that they released to the public was all fake. It's been proven 100%. But that especially, have you ever seen the documentary Bart Sibrel made it, or Sibrel, however you say his name? It's called it's called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. Have you ever seen
Yes.
that?
Yep.
So in that documentary, so I'm sure you're familiar, they show
very convincing.
They show the footage of Neil and Buzz and Collins faking the shot of the Earth by blacking out the shuttle and using the circular window to cut out. It looks, so they're filming the Earth. It looks like they're really far away because the lights are out and the window is cutting out the rest of the Earth. But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and
I wasn't convinced.
Well, here's what do you mean? How are you not convinced by that?
It looked real to me.
No, but you must not have seen the second half because after they're filming it, they get literally one of them says cut, and then they turn on the lights, and then you see the window, and then you clearly see that they're in Earth orbit. Like they were pretending to be way further away than they were, and it's pretty. I can only recommend that you gotta go watch that again. I don't know how you missed that part.
I don't know.
Well, let me. let me get to my
We've gone
bottom.
back. We've taken pictures of every footprint on that damn thing just 2 years ago, and they went exactly where they went on the video footage that we saw that they released when they were on the surface.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. Well, there's so many other things. For one, here's the big puzzler right here. So they had you know, they had the shuttle that went out there, and then they had the lander that detached from the shuttle, right? So Buzz and Neil.
There's three. There's three. There's the orbiter, then there's the lander on the way down, and then when it takes off, it left the bottom piece.
Well, yeah. Okay,
on
so
the surface. It's
yeah,
still there.
that's
All 6 spots.
that's true, and China confirmed that as well. So, but here's the thing: is NASA actually released footage to the public back in the what was it? What was that? 69, 71, something like that. They actually released footage where there is a camera somewhere that is filming the lander taking back off and going and reconnecting with the shuttle. But wait a minute.
The orbiter.
Where? No,
And
but it was
ends
no, because the orbiter was also in the scene. The orbiter was over here. The lander was coming up over here. But there's a third camera. Where the fuck is that third camera coming from? And they never, ever gave an answer for that. They ignore that question every fucking time.
Talking about when they take off from the surface of the moon and they follow the lander up to the orbiter. Is that what you're talking?
I'm
That was Apollo 17. That was the only time they did it.
No. I'm talking about Apollo 11. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. They were so stupid that they actually put that footage out. Well, here's the thing, is back in the day, they only had to show the footage one time. Back then, they didn't know that the internet would be invented 3 decades later. So now we're able to go back and look at this bullshit footage, and it's the most obvious thing. Like, there were only 2 things floating there: the shuttle and the lander. So, yet somehow we have a third camera angle from something else that has both the shuttle and the lander connecting to each other. But where the fuck is that camera coming from?
Are you talking about when they're up above the moon reconnecting?
Yes. There's a third camera that literally could not exist because there were only 2 things up there, according to NASA. But yet we have this third camera.
I'd have to see what you're talking about. I could probably.
I don't think I can explain it good enough. Yeah, I think you would have to see it.
If they had cameras up there that were left on the surface that were still transmitting, and I don't know about if they had another camera out, where the orbiter was in like Apollo 17, because they were trying to document everything on the 17. They were taking, like I said, they were able to videotape or transmit the takeoff up into space from the surface on Apollo 17. It took them 3 times to set the timing up right, and they got it finally perfect, and then they took off, and they got a great shot. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, but that's 17. I'm talking about 11. Yeah. But whatever.
Apollo 12, they landed by the surveyor.
Yeah.
And do you remember they were able to go see the surveyor? Because we sent the surveyors up there, and they went up there and they took the camera off of it and brought it home.
Oh man, I could go so deep on this subject right now, but I'm gonna have to show you. When I get a chance, I'll just send you a link.
What you're looking for. If you're looking for, just look at it all and take it in.
Well,
You know,
here's what I was gonna say originally. I think we have definitely been to the moon. I don't deny that. I just don't think we went there by strapping human beings to a firecracker and launching it up. I think they used some other technology. Well, one thing is for sure, most of the all of the Apollo footage is so fucking fake. It's hilariously bad. And but that doesn't mean we didn't go to the moon. I think we went to the moon.
I disagree. I think it's all real.
Oh my
It is
goodness.
odd because
Listen, son, I've got some footage. I got some footage to show you. I'm going to show it to you. So let's agree to disagree right now, but let me finish my point.
Let me just say that.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's such an alien planet. I mean, the surface is basically glass. And so when it's bright, you can't see the stars. It's overexposed. It's hard to take pictures of. It's alien. And there's no wind and there's no, the gravity is tiny compared to Earth. So everything's going to be weird and different. So if you're looking for different and weird, you're going to find it. If you're looking for fake, you'll see whatever you're looking for.
Dude, you just said the G word. I do have a link locked and loaded and ready to send you that will probably halfway blow your mind. It's a long story. It gets into the mathematics that NASA uses to calculate the mass of. Anyway, I'm not even going to spoil it for you. I'm just going to send you the link.
Let's just say that the moon isn't as heavy as it should be.
Well, let's say this: the moon. Yeah. So fuck all the. Once again, we agree to disagree on the other stuff, but the moon is. So here's a
hollow.
Here's a common misconception about the moon: is most people think that the moon doesn't rotate because the same side of the moon is always facing the Earth. For thousands of years, it has not changed a millimeter. But
we had this conversation last time we talked.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, we actually see 59% of the moon. It does face us the whole time, but it does oscillate.
Well, here's the thing: is the moon? Okay, so we have the Earth, which is spinning, right? But it's also orbiting the sun. So it's spinning and it's orbiting. On top of that, we have the moon, which is also spinning, but it's also orbiting the Earth. Yet the rotation is exactly perfect to where, okay, to put it in perspective, you know how you can like kind of flick a quarter on the table and the quarter spins around? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So imagine you flick a quarter and it's spinning around while it's also spinning around. And then let's say you flicked a second quarter and that quarter was also spinning around while it's also spinning around. Yet the same side of that quarter is facing the same side of the other corner. The rotations are so perfect that the same side is always facing the other side. This is what science literally the odds of that happening naturally is scientifically considered impossible. There's
other moons that are tidal locked in our solar system.
No, there isn't though. Well, it depends on who you ask. Mike Barra will tell you that there are other moons that do that, but most people I've talked to have said there aren't. So I guess I can't really say for sure because I've gotten mixed answers.
I don't know. I've thought of this, why moons become tidal locked, and it makes me think that maybe, one part of the moon is a little bit heavier, and it's always because of the gravity, it's always facing us. I would have to research it. I was just, thinking in my mind why, it'd always be facing us.
Well,
But I didn't realize until, lunar libration, I didn't realize happened. And I was talking to Richard about it just a couple weeks ago on his show.
wait, who's Richard?
Hoagland.
Oh, right. Wait, he still does a show?
Yeah. Saturday and Sunday.
Dude, is there any way... All right, yeah, we gotta talk after this. Okay.
9 to midnight on TalkStream Live.
Wait, is he still on... what's the network he's on?
No, he's not. He's not on Twitch either. He's only on Blog Talk, and he's on TalkStream Live.
Yeah, because he was on... I forgot what it's called, but... yeah, he kind of sort of... I thought he disappeared, but I guess he's still doing a show.
Well, he went away for like 7 months writing his book or whatever, and then...
Dude, I thought that was kind of weird. I remember the night I was listening to Coast, the night that they announced that they replaced Hoagie with whoever their official science guy is now. Like, Richard Hoagland was the guy that they would have on once every couple of weeks to talk about whatever.
Richard Hoagland's got a big ego.
He does.
And his name's Dick for a reason. He gets into it with people, and then he holds grudges really bad.
Yeah, no, he's burned a lot of bridges. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But that is, and he also talks about all kinds of bullshit. But that's not to say that some of the things he talks about aren't true. I think he's pointed out a lot of very real things that a lot of people are overlooking because of his reputation and all the other bullshit he talks about.
I'd love to talk about all those things, but I can never get anyone to believe we even went to the moon. So I can never talk about it. I can't talk about it with JP or anybody in my fucking Discord except for maybe Stabby. And Stabby didn't believe in any of that stuff, so I never can talk about it with anybody except for maybe Richard.
Well, yeah,
Willie.
Especially JP. You'd be lucky to agree on going to the same restaurant, much less agreeing on any sort of intellectual conversation.
The Earth is flat and we can't even leave the fucking atmosphere.
Oh, wait, is he a flat earther?
Yeah.
Ah. Okay. Well, anyway, back to, well, that's interesting to know. But, well, here's what I was going to say originally. So forget about how we went to the moon, when we went to the moon, whatever. My bottom point is we got there somehow, and I have a very strong feeling that we, especially if you listen to those, I'm sure you've heard them too, the audio recordings of, who was it? Neil Armstrong or somebody was like, hey, Houston, Santa Claus is here.
Yeah, they're all on the other side of the crater watching us.
Yeah, and they literally said
a lot of people that heard that.
Yeah,
on ham radios.
So what I think happened is, and then people, we talk about this all the time. Like, why have we went to the moon in the late 60s, early 70s. Why have we not been back there in like 40 years? Well, we probably were told to never come back there because we encountered whoever the fuck is actually living there, and they were like, dude, get the fuck out of here. And I think that's what happened.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, I think so.
We're still going.
Yeah, we're still going.
Secret space program. So, we have 4 more days, man. 4 more days till the Chinese go back.
What do you mean? What? 4 more days till what?
December 3rd.
What happens then?
China's launching Jade Rabbit 2.
Jade Rabbit 2? I didn't even know they were doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
It'll be 2.5 days to get up after they launch it. So, I don't know, maybe December 6th they'll hopefully land on the far side of the moon in the polar region.
Dude, and I just saw a few days ago, I got a little notification. I don't know where it came from, but apparently NASA just landed something on Mars the other day. Another thing on Mars. Yeah.
It's over $1 billion. Yeah, and they didn't know if it'd work because it was the first soft landing. It had jets. It had the shield, and then it dropped off, and then it had the parachutes come out, and then it released the parachutes, and then it did a soft landing with jets onto the surface, and it had a lot that had to go right, and it went perfect.
Yeah, see,
Of course, we landed in Nevada desert.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Sometime this weekend, here's what we'll do. We're gonna connect on Skype or Discord or whatever, and we're gonna both watch this documentary together at the same time online. And I'm very curious to see what you have to say after you see what I show you.
Is it on YouTube or is it on Netflix?
It's good question. I have it though. I have it somewhere. I'll make sure.
Well, we could use Skype, I suppose, or we could use Rabbit. That's kind of cool. It's kind of like the video version of Discord.
Wait, what is that? Rabbit?
Rabbit.
Oh, Rabbit.
Like GG Rabbit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I should probably sue them for using my name.
You can all watch videos together.
Okay. Wait, is this called Rabbit? That's the whole name?
Yes.
Wow.
Download the app.
Wow, maybe
we can watch.
All right. Yeah, maybe I can sue them for using my second half of my name.
Yeah.
All right, I'll definitely look into that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, I've never heard of that before.
I didn't hear of it until last week. Bloviator talked about it, and then we got on there and we were watching videos together. It was pretty interesting.
Right on. So,
no, I'll watch anything you want me to watch. See, that's the thing. What irritates me about like JP and some people.
They're so fucking stubborn, dude.
They don't want to watch it. I'll watch anything. And I'll discuss it and tell you what I think. But some people just want to put their head in their sand. Nope, don't want to see it. I don't believe that, so I'm not going to watch it. And it's so frustrating.
Oh my god, yeah. The last time I was on whatever that show is they do that I've been on like 15 times and I still don't know what it's called. But yeah, I was trying to explain to JP and whoever else was on there about, all of Robert Duvall and Robert Schock and Graham Hancock and John Anthony West, all of the work that they did over in Egypt and the pyramids and the constellation alignments and all that stuff. They actually had never heard that before. I actually had to sit there and explain to them.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
Like, how are you doing radio shows like this and you don't know about that?
I don't think that's the topic that they normally talk about, though. They do
obviously not, because they didn't know a single fucking thing about it. And on top of that,
I was there for that. Remember, I was putting all the pictures in the
oh,
Discord.
That's right. You were there. Yeah. So, yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And they, even at the end of everything I said, well, because that's the other problem with these guys is, we kind of get carried away about, with talking shit to each other, and we kind of lose track of what the original point was. And so I never quite got the point across, but I was just kind of blown away. Like, JP is a little, he's stubborn. He's definitely a little ignorant, but I do want to say I love the guy. He's awesome, but he's stubborn, he's ignorant, and I'm very surprised that he can't just stop and listen and watch and look and learn.
God, it fucking pissed me off so bad last week with it.
Just for 5 seconds. For 5 seconds.
With the shooting right next to his fucking house at that bar. And, all those people, 12 people dead.
Wait, I didn't.
All fake shit.
Hold on, I didn't hear about that. Can you please fill me in?
You heard about it. It was in Thousand Oaks. It was the shooting at the bar where there's 12 people killed.
No, I didn't. I did not.
He shot a cop.
Wait, Thousand Oaks. Are you talking about
California?
California? Yeah. Okay.
The borderline bar and grill or something. But anyways, it's just a few miles from his house, and of course and this is just to add to the conspiracy. Okay. 45 people that were in the shooting in Vegas were at that bar.
Oh, of course. Of course. Why wouldn't they be? Every fucking witness of every terrorist action, of every terrorist act just so happens to be at every other terrorist act. That happens all the time.
Yeah. And as soon as you saw that, it was like, okay, it's fake. So I'm watching like my brother lives down there, and he knows somebody that died, and these people died, and they fucking had funerals, and they're online. And I was like, just go to one of the fucking funerals or go down to the place and do some research. No, it's all fake. These are all crisis actors. There's 200 people at the funeral, and they're all crying and fucking doing the best job in the world at acting. And I'm like, it just pisses me off.
Wait, so which side of the fence are you on? Is it fake or not?
It's not fake. I don't think it's fake.
See, that's the thing is, well, first of all, a lot of these things really do happen, for sure. Obviously.
People are real people that died. Maybe you went in there to kill them to be part of, a government fucking conspiracy. But there's 12 people that are dead that were real people. It had real funerals, including the cop. You could go visit his fucking dead body at the fucking funeral home. If you just drove 3 miles down there, you would see it.
I'm really glad you brought this up because, see, it's not just one or the other. Well, actually, a lot of the times it is one or the other. But there are a few major things that have happened in human history that, yes, people did die. But at the same time, it was all set up. It was all planned. Just for a ripe example, the whole reason we got into the Vietnam War was because, which we fully know for a fact now because of the Freedom of Information Act, we have the documents that show that they sunk a ship that had no people on it, but they told everybody that there was a bunch of people on it, and and that's what got America, that convinced the public to support the government's move in Vietnam. So we do have false flags. It does happen.
The original.
But that doesn't mean that people aren't actually dying. That's where
JP saying these are all crisis actors, and all these people at the fucking funerals are all bullshit. These are real people. I know people that know them.
Yeah.
They're
me too.
That died. Yeah. And for them to poo-poo them and say that they're all fake actors, could you fucking imagine if you were like one of the parents of one of these kids?
Yeah, that's the thing is you can't. Off. It's not. Just like anything else, I think it's not one or the other. It's somewhere in the middle. Yes, people are dying. People are dying. Possible. People are dying for sure, but at the same time, see, actually, there's another. Man, I need to take notes of everything I want to send you because, I've got my friend John Polk staying here. I just showed him this the other day. He hosts.
John's there?
Yeah, he hosts a show called the Quantum Hologram Matrix on the Fringe FM.
John and I know each other.
You know John? Oh, yeah. He's like 10 feet away from me, but he's asleep.
Send him over.
No, he's asleep, and he's got to go back to Florida tomorrow. He can't. No, he's not going to come on. But...
John and I know each other.
Dude, what the fuck is your last name again?
Egelwall.
Say that again.
I met him at the. Well, he was there
All right, yeah.
with Eric at the UFO Congress 2 years ago.
Oh my God, Eric is. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Eric is one of my favorite people ever. He never knows when to not say the wrong thing at the wrong time, and that's why
And
I love him.
Eric was here. Eric and I saw the UFO together up at ESETI.
Dude,
And Eric stayed at my house for 3 or 4 days.
you know, here's a fun fact. Me and Eric are actually about to. Uh, we're about to try a new show that we're both gonna do together.
Yeah, I know about it.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But I was gonna say there is a link that I am definitely I am not gonna let this one go because this will blow your mind. So let me give you some sort of let me explain this to you. So there was a car bombing in Mosul, Iraq, just outside of fuck. I forgot what the main city is. But it was in Mosul, Iraq.
Okay.
And
Not Baghdad. Is that what you're thinking of?
oh, I think it was outside of Baghdad. Yeah, no, there's a little town outside of there called Mosul.
Mosul.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so and you can look it up. I'm about to look it up for you and send it to you. But so okay, there was a car bombing there, and because of that car bombing, that is what gave the American military a huge green light to invade a whole area of Iraq. Like that was their, that was their move. Like, okay, this happened.
So another false flag.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is whoever planned that out didn't realize that there was a security camera on the corner of one of the buildings. So basically what you see is, first of all, you see a car drive up, then a guy gets out, he runs to the other car, he puts a fucking thing under it, he goes back in his car, and they drive off. The car blows up, and then within 10 seconds, two vans and a bunch of people run up onto the scene. They run to the scene, and then all of a sudden, everybody drops on the floor, and they pretend to be hurt. And
yeah, I believe that.
It is the fake. And here's the other, like, that sounds a little too good, too good to be true. But
it's probably
I actually have the original, the New York Times article, the Guardian Post. I've got the original article. I have it all saved on my computer where they show photos of that. To put it very simply, there's a very weird looking sort of concrete wall right by the car that exploded, and there's very specific graffiti on it. And in the articles that they put out to the public when it happened, clearly showed photos of that exact same spot. And then we also have the video of these, whoever the fuck they are, crisis actors, I guess you call them. The whole thing was fucking staged. It's, you literally...
I believe that.
There is...
I believe that we have probably a false flag program. If they want something to go ahead, they'll create a reason to,
absolutely,
to get propaganda. It's propaganda.
Same thing with back in the Fidel Castro days. They had we know now because of the Freedom of Information Act that they planned on killing many innocent people just to make it look like Castro was fucking up so that we could go over there. That was probably the worst anybody has ever explained that situation. But I think I still got my point across.
You mean the Bay of Pigs invasion, or
dude? No, they were gonna blow up our own plane. They were gonna send our own plane over there and blow it up right over their country and blame it on Cuba. And yeah, that thing.
What do you think? What's going on with Saudi Arabia?
What's going on with Saudi Arabia? I have no idea.
Been watching Reddit.
What? I don't know. What is going on with Saudi Arabia?
That guy that got murdered at the Turkish embassy.
Wait, are we talking about Turkey or Saudi Arabia? What's going on here? Oh, okay. The Turkish embassy. The Saudi Arabian
prince supposedly ordered this hit on this guy that was saying bad things to him in the press, and they went over there and they shot up his whole body and put it in a small canister and took him out of there.
Wait, but he was a Turkish guy?
No, I think he's Saudi Arabian, and he was critical of the government.
Wait, so who? The
Crown Prince.
Who's
the CIA?
No, but who?
According to the CIA, the Crown Prince ordered his death, and they went over there with 18 people, showed up in. You don't know about this?
Wait, hold on. I just have to get. You mentioned a Turkish guy. Who's the Turkish guy?
In Turkey. Okay, this is in the Turkey. The Turkish
embassy.
Embassy. The embassy over the American embassy or whatever.
Wait, okay. You just said two different things. Is it the Turkish embassy to America or the Turkish embassy to Saudi Arabia?
It was in Turkey.
It was in Turkey.
All these video.
Okay.
They had video of all this shit, and nobody knew that they had video. And these fucking Saudi Arabians went over there and killed this guy, murdered him, cut him up with sod.
Well, first of all, that's terrible. I feel bad for whoever was affected by that. But at the same time, Saudi Arabia does that shit all the fucking time.
And I think that's what President Trump is thinking. He's like, well, I'm just going to... Because they made, like, inroads with Saudi Arabia.
Those Saudi Arabians have so much... First of all, there's like 35 different princes. They all have like $700 million apiece.
That's what I'm
thinking. You can't stop that. That's just gonna happen. So yeah,
they are stopping it because Trump wanted to just kind of push it under the carpet. But there was a vote yesterday. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't. Please tell me.
The Republicans went against him, and they want to punish. They don't want to just forget that this happened. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but the vote was either today or yesterday. Yesterday or the day before.
Wait, hold on. What was what were they voting on?
Well, they were basically overdoing what Trump wanted to do.
Which was?
Basically support the Crown Prince and what he said. I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, well, CIA, yeah, that's... yeah, if Trump doesn't want to get shot, then he has to do that. He has to play along. That's the thing about being the president of the United States. You have to... I think people really underestimate the power of Saudi Arabia. Those are the most rich and powerful people in the fucking world. You think America runs the world? I don't know. You got to really look at the Saudi Arabians. There's 30 different people that all have tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars apiece. They can pay whoever they want to do whatever the fuck they want them to do. And
that's why I said you what you thought of.
What?
Well, I'm glad so I was asking what you thought of Saudi Arabia. You're not up to like the newest news. You're like more into the UFO stuff.
It's been usually I am. This last month has been a real, what I could only describe as a very fucky month. And a lot of backtracking, a lot of, it's been a shitty month. But I'm back on track now as of 2 days ago. So I'm just kind of getting back into the loop. That's why I'm actually 100% relying on you to fill me in on what I've missed.
You're learning all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, apparently, I've been living under a fucking rock. Under a rock. Dude, yeah, but dude, those Saudi Arabians, man, you really cannot fuck with them. If you do, you will get shot. And that was my point.
Well,
Trump is not gonna.
Trump wants to support, the fight against Iran and Yemen and what's going on over there. And Saudi Arabia is fighting them, and the Crown Prince is very, he's what do you call progressive? I guess you could say for Saudi.
Yeah,
because Saudi Arabia is like, God, they're so back.
Dude, it's very disturbing just to know how things work over there. Yeah.
I agree. I say fuck the Saudis.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that flew. The Bin Ladens are the only ones that flew on September 12th. That was fucking bullshit.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. 100% bullshit. Yeah.
We really need to get off the oil. We have to get off.
I think we're getting close. I know Ford announced a few months ago. Damn, it might have been a year ago. I don't know, but they announced kind of recently that they are no longer going to produce cars that run on oil. They're totally converting to... Actually, I don't think they said what they were converting to. They just said they weren't going to make combustion engine oil cars anymore. But they didn't say what their plan was.
Making the trucks.
Well, they are still... Yeah, they didn't really follow up on their word, but they said it. They made a big press statement, and they announced to the world that, hey, we are no longer going to make cars that run on oil, but yet they're still making cars that run on oil.
They're still making trucks.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened there. Trucks. At least they said something, I guess. I don't know.
At least they said something.
At least they tried to lie about it.
Yeah.
You got to give them some credit there.
That's awesome, Gigi.
Dude, we got to do this more often. You're such a good guest. We could kill this for hours.
How long have we been on?
I don't know. Actually, I do know. Actually, no, I don't. But I can find out. Let me see. We've been an hour and 45 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, hour and 44 minutes.
They thought that getting the materials to make the batteries for like the Prius would be so hard on the environment. But did you know that they're able to figure out a good way to get the lithium out of the soil with just using the sun? So it's been a lot easier than they thought.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I very briefly heard about that. I don't fully understand what that means, though.
And it pulls them up, and they put something on there, and then it pulls the lithium up. It's fucking genius.
Yeah, they figured out something. Nobody ever really explained to me how it works.
And those batteries, they thought that the Prius would only last like 7 years, the batteries. Those fucking first Priuses are still going, man. And they thought they were going to have to replace the entire battery. They're not. These Priuses at my hotel, like the cabs and stuff, they're up over 400,000 miles, and the batteries are still good. So,
okay, so let's hold on. Let's clear the air right here, because first of all, I don't know anything about cars. Nothing. I don't even know nothing. I am just, like there's those guys that, they have like whole magazines dedicated to cars, the newest model. You got the Turbo VX Plus turbo engine or whatever, like I don't know any of that shit. The one thing I do know is that I hear people talking shit on other people for owning a Prius. To make it more simple, apparently if you have a Prius, you're gay, is basically the stereotype. Why is that? Why is the Prius... What's going on there?
I don't know. Everybody always says I'm gay, so maybe I need to go get a Prius to finish it off.
That might do it. Yeah. But seriously, what is that all about? Why is the Prius so gay related? Like, what's the problem with the Prius?
I've never heard that before.
Oh, dude, have you never seen there's that movie with
I heard Subarus are for lesbians and stuff, but I've never heard about a Prius being a gay.
Well, then you haven't seen there's a movie where it's Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. Oh my god. Oh, it's called
Good Cop?
No. Oh, I just had it and I've lost it.
The Good Guys.
No, it's called The Other Guys, right?
That's it.
The Other Guys.
That's a great.
That
movie's underrated.
It is underrated. First of all, great movie, absolutely great movie. Second of all, they talk shit on Prius throughout the whole fucking movie, and like, by the end of the movie, I understood the point that obviously it's not manly
like
to
old, right?
Like.
That was right.
I finally understood that their whole point was it's very unmanly to own a Prius, but they didn't explain why, and I don't know anything about cars, so yeah, I'm still I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I think I would own a Prius. I've thought about buying one.
Honestly, it doesn't look bad. Those cars look okay. I don't see what
what cars are amazing. I park cars for a living, right?
You park cars for a living?
Yeah.
Can I do that? How do you do that?
I'm a doorman. I work at a hotel. I park cars.
Oh, that sounds so much better than my job.
JP used to be a valet.
Actually,
he said the best job he ever had.
I actually was a valet for about 3 months. I did used to do that, but yeah, I'm probably not getting
I've been doing that for like 23 years.
Damn.
So I drive everything. Teslas are amazing. Those are amazing. If I could, I think I'm going to invest in Tesla this year just to do it.
Dude, yeah, I remember one time. This is like 5 or 6 years ago or something. But yeah, I was doing the valet thing, and somebody, they pulled up with the car. I was like, okay, I get in. There's no key. There's no thing to put the key in. There's like a big power button in the middle. Like, that was the first time I ever saw one of these fancy cars where you don't actually put the key in it. You just have the thing in your pocket and then you push the button.
That's right.
And like, I sat there for like 10 minutes trying to figure it out. I was like, what in the fuck is going on? I actually had to go back into the restaurant, call the people out. I was like, hey, how the fuck does your car work?
No.
Yeah.
What do you drive?
Dude, I drive an old shitty Hyundai that's like, what is it? It's like 2008 Hyundai, or Hyundai, however the fuck you say it. Hyundai. Once again, I don't know dick about cars.
It's like Sunday.
It's the SUV, the Santa Fe, the Hyundai Santa Fe. Yeah, it's really old. It's really shitty. There's trash everywhere in it, and it's terrible. Yeah, I would not recommend anybody riding in my car.
They're way better in the last 3 or 4 years, but they're not as good as like Mazdas or
honestly,
Subaru.
Dude, I swear to God, Toyotas and Hyundai, the Japanese people. Well, I guess Hyundai is more, that's like South Korean, isn't it?
Yeah, Hyundai I think is Korean, but they're good cars.
Well, let's sum it up better than that. Asians know how to make cars. Americans do not. It's that fucking simple. If you're going to buy a car, get Toyota or Hyundai, if you don't get one of those, then your car is going to fuck up on you many times.
Or Honda. Yep. I bought a $400 Toyota Camry 1999 about a year and a half ago. $400. I put because I work 45 miles from where I work. I live 45 miles away.
Who did you hold hostage to get somebody to sell you that car for $400? How's that possible? Down.
I had to put some money into it right away. A new starter and a new battery, and then boom, blammo. Oh. I've been driving. It's been great.
Wait, so Honda? Who are those people? Where's Honda from?
Well, Japan.
Honda's Japan? Okay. See, once again, folks, if there's anything you learned tonight is buy automobiles made by Asians.
It's funny because for a while online you could find out which cars were actually made in Japan, and there's some Honda places that are here in America where they make the Hondas in America, and people were only searching out the serial numbers for the cars that were actually made in Japan and then shipped.
Yeah. But dude, yeah, I had for years I had a Toyota what do you call it? The Toyota 4Runner. And
those are the best.
They are the best, dude. And because I grew up, I was a semi-professional skateboarder for most of my life, and I was the one with the car. So I had the SUV, so we could fit everybody's boards in the back, all the camera shit, and all the people. Not to mention, and man, we ran that thing into the ground. But it took almost 8 years to get that thing lasted forever. It was almost up to 300,000 miles. And trust me when I say, we had people pissed on the car, people threw rock. We couldn't have abused an automobile more than we did than that one. And it lasted forever.
Those old 4Runners, sometimes the rear end would start sagging a little bit, and it looked like they would be tilted upwards. Was yours like?
Yeah, I have heard about that, but no, that actually didn't happen to mine. What really did happen is I finally, I saw the writing on the wall. I knew it was almost done. So my girlfriend at the time put it on Craigslist for me. Some guy got a hold of me, and he saw the photos, because we only took photos of the outside, right? And he was like, all right, I'll give you $5,000 for it. And then he shows up, and then he looks at the inside. And like I said, a car full of skateboarders for 8 years in a row. All kinds of cigarette burns in the sides and the walls, and just stains, blood stains over here. Just a total disaster. And I swear to God, he was like, dude, I've been buying used cars for 20 years. I have never seen anything this disastrous in my life. I know I said 5,000 before, but after seeing this shit, dude, I cannot give you more than 3,000. I was like, wow. I was like, fuck it. All right, I'll take it. And but just, I wish I would have filmed that moment. His reaction to seeing the inside of the car was absolutely priceless. Oh my God. Yeah. Great times. But
those trucks go forever. Their rear ends usually run out before the engine.
Yeah, I have heard about that. But see, now I have this Hyundai, and I'm pretty sure it's a 2008. I've got about 250,000 miles on it. And
my God, you must drive a lot.
Yeah, I've driven from Texas to California at least 15 times, not to mention the other few times where I drove from Florida to California. And then once again,
Oh, boring.
well, because we also do skateboarding film trips, which, after a while, you rack up some serious miles driving from spot to spot. So, yeah.
Do you still skateboard anymore?
Not professionally, but all my friends are still pros, and I skate with them, and I hang out with them, and a lot of times I'm the one driving everybody. So I'm I'm there, but I'm not sponsored anymore. I'm not I'm not pursuing it. I guess you could say.
Are you in any films?
Oh yeah, if you look
How many
up,
films?
just type in anti-ed on YouTube, anti-ed, which is a funny thing is well, first of all, it's a long story on how we came up with that name, but so there was a few years where a bunch of us that grew up in Houston skateboarding, which is obviously LA and California, that's the main skateboarding hub. But there's a couple of other cities that pros usually come from, and Houston is one of those cities, and we were a bunch of up-and-comers at the time. And so after all the skate shops closed, because our job was to go film each other skateboarding, but then the shops closed. So we didn't have anything to do, so we just kept filming, and we put it out on YouTube, and we created this thing called Anti-Ed. And what's funny is we tried to get a website, we tried to get the URL antied.com, but there was already a website that had that name, and it was an erectile dysfunction company.
Oh, fuck.
So we had to change it to Anti-Ed Shred is what we settled on. But yeah, no, there was a few years we were very popular in Houston for a couple years, and we put out a bunch of videos on YouTube, and they're all still there. If you type in Anti-Ed, everybody in this industry knows me as Gigi, but my real name is actually Brian with an I. So if you type Anti-Ed Brian Bressler, Bresler, well, for one, you'll see several different videos, but even all the other Anti-Ed videos where my name's not in it, I'm still in most of those too. And that's basically a snapshot of what we did for like 5 years.
Did you ever make any money on you?
No, I just got a lot of free. No, they paid for our hotels. They paid, they give us like money for like groceries and stuff. And then, I would get like a box of 50 Monster energy drinks every month. And then,
I got that yesterday at my work.
Dude, I will never drink Monster again. I swear to God. Like once. What I ended up doing is, I got sick of Monster real quick as soon as I got sponsored by him. So what I did was I would just go up to the skate park and sell the Monsters for twice as much as they're worth for the convenience of being right there. And so I made money doing that. But other than that,
half as much as they're worth.
Yeah, which is you're not allowed to do that whatsoever.
Correct.
Yeah. No, I got a lot of free products. They paid for a lot of our skate trips, and they paid for our hotel rooms, and once in a while they'd give us like money for food and stuff, but I wouldn't quite call it making a living, I guess you could say. We were just barely, there was 5 of us piled up in a 2-bedroom apartment. And that's what we did for like 5 years. It's just skate all day, every day.
So cool, though.
Honestly,
love for a while.
Honestly,
you have no regret.
I have no regrets. And here's the thing: is, don't get me wrong. I love doing this radio shit. This is fun. This is cool. I like my other gig. I got 2, but to be honest, I find it very ironic that the happiest, the best time of my life was when I was the most poor and had no money, whatsoever, eating 7-Eleven taquitos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, and skateboarding 24/7. That was the best years of my life for sure. I would rather be poor and do that forever than get paid to do what I'm doing right now, which I'm not even. I'm barely making. I'm not really doing any better now. I'm just not skateboarding. That's the only difference.
Did you ever get injured?
Oh yeah, I've broken, dude. My favorite thing to show people. We don't have video, so I can't show you. But normally, in this moment, I'll be like, "Yeah, I broke this finger," and I would hold up my middle finger because that's the one that broke. And even after surgery, it's still fucking crooked. So, if giving the middle finger isn't bad enough, imagine somebody giving you a crooked middle finger. That's what I can do now. And then also, I broke my left wrist. I also had surgery on that. I really fucked up my toe one time. Oh, I got a really bad concussion another time. That was pretty bad.
But no back injury or broken.
Oh no, I'm good to go. Yeah, I can jump down shit all day, every day. Still, you know,
You're what, 29?
30.
You're 30 now.
Well, I just turned 30 the other day. Yeah. Well, that was like 2 months ago. But
I just turned 50.
What?
I just turned 50.
Dude, you sound like you're like 27.
No, I'm 50.
What?
So I was born in 1968.
I actually almost don't believe you.
You said this last time, too. I just turned 50. Last week.
Oh, that's right. You did say that. Yeah, okay. Wow. Well, you're amazingly cool for a 50-year-old.
For an old person.
Yeah, no, dude, you're cool as fuck. Yeah. Wow. That's could have fooled me, man.
I've been watching a bunch of climbing videos with that guy from Sacramento that free climbed El Capitan. El Cap.
What do you mean, like rock climbing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Alex
who that is.
Honnold. He's like the Michael Jordan of climbing, and he climbs without ropes. And he climbed El Cap without ropes. And his new movie just came out. It's called Free Solo.
Dude, those guys are crazy. Yeah, there's a couple of guys that do that shit, you know, where they don't have any sort of safety, nothing, no ropes, nothing.
No.
And they just climb the most ridiculous shit. And, dude, that is so impressive to me. Like, dude, you think skateboarding is dangerous? Go fuck yourself. What they're doing is way crazier than what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, most of them are dead.
And a lot of them are dead. Not to mention, are you familiar with the term parkour? Do you know what that means?
Yeah, I do. My son used to do it.
Yeah, oh goodness. How many kids do you have?
2. My son's like 8 years younger than you.
Wow. That's weird. I could have... Honestly, I thought for sure you were not older than like 33 years old.
Well, that's cool.
Like,
I'm young at heart.
I can't believe that. But yeah, no, I've seen. I'm sure you've probably seen it too. But like, you know,
oh god,
like where people parkour on top of a building, and then like there was that one guy. It's the most ironic thing ever. He did a handstand at on the edge of a skyscraper, and then he got down from the handstand. He successfully did the handstand, but then after he got on his feet, then he slipped and fell off the skyscraper and died. Yeah, like how ironic is that? Like he actually pulled off the trick. But then he fucked up after the trick.
That's because he wasn't concentrating. Yeah.
I can't. I feel bad for. I feel bad for laughing about that.
He was was climbing with his girlfriend. He wasn't paying attention like he normally does, and he
Yeah.
fell and fucking almost broke his ankle. And it was like on nothing, but just because he wasn't totally concentrating.
Well, at least that guy just broke his ankle and didn't die like the other guy.
Oh no, dude, he fucking climbed in free solo. I don't want to ruin it for you, but he makes it.
Yeah. Well,
you should see the crux. Do you know what a crux is?
Well, and there's no, I don't.
A crux is like the hard part of a climb, where it's once you get past it, you're past the crux. You're past the hardest part, and then you can make it. But the crux of this climb on El Cap, which was holding him back forever, he had to use like 2 inside thumb holds, where it was just thumbs, and nothing else. And then had to like use his legs on these tiny little nubs. And it's in the movie. It's just crazy that he's doing that 2,000 feet off the ground.
Yeah, dude, that's really, and then, I mean, it was probably a while ago. I don't know. It was sometime earlier this year. Somebody sent me this video of, how do you explain it? It was like the top 10, photographs of people right before they died.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And
it's so sad.
Yeah, honestly, it is really sad. But one of them was not, but one of them was this girl who, first of all, was really cute. Second of all, climbed like some really ridiculous skyscraper somewhere in Europe or something, and she took that photo, like took a selfie, right? And then right after that, like literally like a couple of seconds after that photo, she fell off and died.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm sure you know exactly
the one's really
what I'm
spooky,
talking about.
like the one of the family that's all smiling, and then there's the guy with the gun right behind. You see that he's about to shoot the person with the...
I've never seen that one.
That's in the same... Well, that was the one I saw, the 10 photos of people...
Wait. Are you talking about the one? Because here's the other thing that was in it is hold on 1 second. The other thing that was in it was so some lady was like being filmed by the local news channel, and she was walking up to her daughter's her daughter died sometime before that, and for whatever reason, it was a big local news story. And so the news was filming her live on the news as she was walking over to the graveyard to go put flowers down. And then her ex-husband just runs up, pulls out a gun, and shoots her in the head like 3 times on live TV.
I didn't see that. That wasn't on YouTube, obviously.
No, it is. That's what I was trying to say. That's the one. That's the same video that had that girl that took a picture of herself before she fell off that building. I'm sure she's in multiple videos, but the one I saw had that last thing I just described, which was really fucked up to see. Actually, I would not recommend watching that. In fact, I wish I didn't see that. But
oh God, that's like the guy that got his head cut off. I still wish I wouldn't have watched.
Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. You know what's fucked up about that is one of my high school teachers showed me that video. He's the one that showed me the guy getting his head cut off.
Yeah, everyone was all pumped up on showing that off, and they were getting in trouble because they wanted the propaganda aspect of why we need to go to war and everything.
Honestly, I still to this day, I mean, it looked pretty real. I don't have any good argument against it. The only argument I have is what kind of human would actually do that? Like, do you think
the funny thing is, it's a pretty quick death. He really did cut his head off pretty quickly, which is nice. They didn't.
It was. I mean, it took like 5 or 10 seconds. That's enough time to suffer a lot.
Yeah.
But I guess at the same time, because if that happens to you, you get that whole adrenaline, whatever you call it, so you don't really feel what's happening. You're just in shock so much that you're dying that you don't actually feel it. That's what they say. I don't know if that's true. But I would imagine that getting your head cut off must hurt at least a lot. You know?
Well, it's nothing compared to what those poor people went through in Paradise.
What do you mean by Paradise?
Well, you haven't been really following the news. You know about Paradise, California, you know, the whole town that burned?
Oh, I did hear about that, but once again, fill me in.
So, a town of 27,000 people tried to evacuate in a half an hour, and most of them got out, but...
We're talking about the forest fire?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they were on the road,
that's
and
right.
there was fire on both sides, so they didn't die of smoke inhalation. They actually roasted. There's like 89 dead and, 800 missing?
Dude, I have heard so many... Yeah, I forgot that that's what that was. But yeah, no, I did. I was following that. And in fact, I know a couple of people that were near there. And I've heard multiple people say, let me just put this very short in layman's terms. Once again, this is my opinion. There's no facts here. But from what I heard, that fire was the fastest spreading fire ever. And
yeah,
everything about it was unnatural, and it didn't make any fucking sense. That's the bottom line that I heard from everybody that actually looked into it.
There's a gas leak, and it lit up like an entire...
from where, like, though? Where?
200 yards. I don't know. I guess it was both the gas company and the electric company. Supposedly, and I don't fucking believe it. That's where I believe in conspiracies, but evidently the thing just lit up as like a football-sized startup, and then with the wind,
the
thing is the fire in Southern California started the exact same time, and no one really talks about that.
Oh, dude, I once again, I don't have any proof to back up what I'm saying, but I swear on my grandmother's grave, I guarantee you at least some of these fires that have happened over here in the last couple of years were not natural. Some of them were definitely generated.
I think they wait until the wind is perfect. I think it's fucking arson, but I don't think they're telling the public. I think they're not telling the public because they don't want more people to do it.
Well, yeah, no, they're never gonna tell the public. Yeah, no. And then on top of that,
it just takes like a few people. 3 people could burn down most of the forest if they wanted to.
Dude, yeah, but even if 3 people tried to burn a forest intentionally, it would not burn as fast as the Paradise one spread. Like,
no, that one they said
that shit was unrealistic. But
the sad thing is they burnt to death. They didn't, suffocate. They actually fucking roasted. I mean, it's the worst death you could possibly have.
I was going to say that.
The only thing that would be worse is like being in Hiroshima on the outskirts, or something.
Yeah, like short of going through Marines training, the next terrible thing would be burning to death. And then the next thing would probably be... Honestly, I don't think drowning is that bad. I think that's probably, if you really have to die and you need to do it quick, just drown yourself. That might be the best way to go. Wait, hold on. Am I giving suicide advice on a radio show? Is that what I'm doing right now? I guess I am.
I don't know if I'd both drowning and burning to death would be horrible for me.
Yeah, first and foremost, don't commit suicide. But if I really had to pick a way to go, definitely would not be burning. Definitely would.
Drowning.
I would never want to go through what those Marine guys go through. I would rather burn than go through what they did. To put that in perspective,
they lived.
I would rather burn to death than what I was told that they go through by my friend who got, once again, the Gung Ho Award, which means everybody in the Marines voted him as the #1 guy. And he told me what he went through. And with that said, I would rather burn to death than go through that. But coming in a close third place would be drowning. I think I would rather... Actually, no. That's coming in a solid first place would be drowning. I would rather drown than burn.
What about shooting yourself in the head or something?
Oh, actually, good point. That's a lot. That's the way to go, for sure.
Or the firing squad.
Yeah, no, just shoot yourself in the head. It's
How about the guillotine?
It happens right away. Or, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can build your own guillotine or if you know somebody that has one, that might be just as good too. I don't know how readily available guillotines are these days, but if you can't find one, just buy a gun and just get it over with. I'm glad we're having this conversation. I don't think enough people talk.
People learn the important things.
Oh my goodness. But you know what? I was actually gonna seriously say though, dude, this is the third time this same cigarette has gone out. What the fuck? All right, hold on.
You just smoking one cigarette all night?
Apparently, yeah. It keeps going out, and I think I'm smoking it, and then it's not lit, and then but anyway, so no, but see, here's another 100% bullshit call that I figured out for myself, which was the Vegas shooting at the which hotel was it that the guy shot from?
Why can't I think of it?
Dude, I go to Vegas all the time. Why do I not know? Anyway, everybody knows what I'm talking about. The Vegas shooting from the... God damn, I can't remember the fuck. Anyway, whatever. The hotel that it was at. So according to the multiple interesting facts around this situation. First of all, there were multiple people that were interviewed by the local news that talked about some lady running in the crowd of the concert.
You're all gonna die.
45 minutes before the shooting, saying that you're all gonna die if you don't leave. First of all, that's just first of all.
Actually, I don't think she said that. She just said you're all gonna die.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. I think she only said you're all gonna die, but she said it multiple times, which is ironic because 45 minutes later, a bunch of people died. So that's the first thing.
JP said it's all fake. They're all crisis actors.
Wait, where?
It's a well choreographed.
Well, okay, hold on. Let's not go there yet. So first of all, that lady said that. Second of all, they, after the concert started, they literally blocked off all of the exits. Like, nobody could leave. They, like, right before the shooting, they blocked off all the exits. Why? First of all, why would any concert ever that happens anywhere block off all of the exits? Why would that ever happen?
I thought it was a free concert. Wasn't it a free concert?
I don't know if it was free or if they paid to get there, but whoever was there, they were literally trapped by whoever was running that event. They closed off all the exits. They literally boarded up some of the exits. They put gates on the other ones. You could not leave even if you wanted to. And there were already before the shooting even happened, people were trying to leave and they wouldn't let them leave, and there was already some, there's obviously some complaints like, can I please fucking leave? And they're like, no, like, why not? And so that was going on. Third thing, I am an audio engineer. I've gone to school for many years studying audio production, and I'm very close to having my Bachelor of Science degree in audio production. That's right. They actually do that now. That's a thing that you can get now, and I almost have it. And with that said, when you listen to... So the official story, right, is there's one guy in one hotel room with like 100 guns or some stupid shit like that, right? But if you actually listen to the recordings, especially as an audio engineer, there is very fucking clearly 3 fucking shooters. There are 3 different guns going off at the same time. Yep. Absolutely. There is no
driver.
No doubt about it. There are 3 different guns going off
on the mezzanine.
But then
there's someone right above on the mezzanine. There is. You can hear the gunfire super close.
Yeah,
it's not way up on the fucking. I agree.
Yeah, see, even you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's there's no question. And then on top of that,
but I don't think those people were actors that didn't get shot.
Oh no, people. See, that's once again. Here we go. Yes, people actually did die for sure. That happened. No doubt about it. But that's not to say that this was all set up in the first place. Everything from blocking the exits to the multiple shooters, which every news story, they tried so hard to make everybody believe that it was only one guy. Which, first of all, what kind of fucking casino hotel allows a guy with like fucking 75 guns to get a room? As soon as you walk, I don't know if you understand if anybody understands how Vegas works. The split second you walk into any hotel or casino, you are watched on camera 24/7.
No, they showed the bell cart with all the bags going in.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that, but let's say that is true.
I
Whatever.
do that all the time. I load up bags. I have no fucking clue what's in them. I've handled bags and bags of video equipment that was so fucking heavy that you wouldn't know if they were guns or video equipment.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, I'll give you that. But here's the weirdest thing is, for about 1 or 2 weeks, they tried really hard to make everybody think that it was one shooter, and then enough people were talking out about it, about how blatantly obvious it was there was way more than one shooter, and then the mainstream media just dropped it. They dropped it like a fucking hot potato. Never heard from again. You never heard anybody talk about it again because they couldn't talk about it.
Told them not to.
Yeah, no, they couldn't. They fucked up. They fucked up their own made up story. And they fucked it up, and they couldn't talk about it anymore. Now, once again, that's not to say that people didn't actually die, because they did. But that's also not to say
Where's that taxi driver? Why can't we interview her?
Good point. And then, actually, very good point. I don't think most people... I think a lot of people might not know what you're referencing.
It's the best video of the gunfire from the mezzanine.
Yes, it is. And it's just, what a sloppy false flag job they did. I mean, once again, see, I really want to draw this line in the sand here. Just because it's a false flag doesn't mean that people didn't die. It just means... I don't think
it's a false flag. I think it's the FBI wanting to basically... They know that there is another shooter, but they didn't...
Wait, hold on. You gotta hold on. You cut out there for a second. Can you say
I
that
don't.
again?
I think they know that there was another shooter, but they didn't find him, and they just want to keep it from the public.
Uh, maybe. Um.
I don't think they found him. I think they got away.
I guarantee you, whoever those three shooters were, if there wasn't more than that, none of them got in trouble at all. In fact, they probably got paid very handsomely to do what they did. And then some poor asshole that just happened to, they just blamed it on some poor guy. And
I don't know. I would like to believe that he was one of the shooters, and there's another one. I think there were two.
Honestly, there were. Yeah, let me say this: there, for sure, without a doubt, I could prove this in court of law with my knowledge of audio technology and what is recorded on those videos. For sure, I can prove that there were two of them.
I agree. The third one could have been him shooting and it reflecting a different angle off the building.
Exactly. That's the point. Exactly. There could have been a third one, but I can't prove that. But I can prove that there were two of them. For sure. No questions asked. No questions asked.
The sound signatures are just too evident.
Yeah, especially if you actually put the audio clip in an like Pro Tools or Logic, and you actually look at the audio waves, you can literally see that there are two different sources of gunfire. I did that, and I've done it, and that's how you prove that. And I did that. So
the one's just so close. It's just so close. That one the taxi cab driver. I mean, it's like right fucking there. You can tell that the gun is right there. It's not reflecting. It's not echoing. It's right fucking there.
Yeah.
It's so obvious to me.
Yeah, there's definitely... so I guess we could sum it up by saying clearly there is some sort of fuckery around that whole situation. Absolutely. Does that mean that
it's
people...
just like you said when they dropped it from the fucking press. The same thing with that Malaysian airliner that disappeared.
Yes.
I mean, all of a sudden, just one day, it just disappeared. They never ran it again. It was like a top story. And they just...
Yeah, they dropped it like a fucking hot potato, too. And, to this day, nobody really knows what happened. But I can tell you this. That plane did not... it landed... Well, here's the thing. Like 8 out of 10 patent holders of some... I forget exactly what it was, but it was like some sort of groundbreaking military technology. 8 out of the 10 patent holders, if not 9 out of the 10 patent holders, were all on that flight. And then all of a sudden that flight disappears, and all of those royalties went to the one guy who was not on the plane, right? So there's your first sign of fuckery right there.
Follow the money. Follow the money.
Exactly. Follow the fucking money. And then on top of that, dude, that plane didn't crash. It didn't sink in the ocean. They landed it somewhere. Probably, this might sound a little off. I'm just letting you know. They probably landed the plane in Antarctica. Boom. I said it. There it is. Believe me or not. That's what happened. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. I don't have any facts. I don't have any proof.
Did you see that video of that weird thing on Antarctica in 2016 on Google Earth Pro?
But wait, what?
It was only that 1 year, and there's this strange object before, and they followed it like 3 years before you could see it, like because you can go back in years on Google Earth. And Google Earth Pro in 2016, all of a sudden, that object that was totally, I mean, it was geometric. It looked like a whale's backbone or something. But all of a sudden, there's this huge, in the winter of 2000 or the summer of 2016, there's a huge place to land a plane, and then you can see all these tracks of all these, excavations or whatever. And then like the next year, it's all back to snow and it's like more uncovered. But then they started after that.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't actually see that.
It's crazy.
For myself.
So crazy.
But I mean,
they were on snowmobiles and they were checking that thing out for months.
Oh no, I did. Yeah, what's his name? The guy, Tyler, Secure Team 10, whatever the fuck that thing is called. He did a video about that, and I did see that.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So, which by the way, I don't want to fully stick up for Secure Team 10, but I do not want to discredit them either. And by them, I mean the one guy that does it.
I like it.
Dude, honestly, I like a lot of his shit. He puts out some good shit, and I like it. I enjoy it. But he definitely does put out some bullshit filler videos because he doesn't have anything to talk about, but he promises everybody a video every couple of days, so he has to put out something. So sometimes, yes, I agree, he puts out bullshit once in a while, yes. But that's not just like anything else, it's not all or nothing with anything. There's always some sort of middle ground with everything. And with that said, I'm going to pop an idea to you that you probably are definitely not going to follow me on this, but I'm going to try to, what does Jack Black say? I'm going to melt your brain with a really crazy idea. This is kind of fun to think about.
Let's get Tyler on your program.
Well, it's funny you asked that. I actually invited him twice onto the show. The first time he ignored, and then the second time, he I forgot exactly what he said, but it was like a really bullshit excuse that basically meant I'm never going to come on your show. That's the only way. I don't know. He made up. It was a really bullshitty excuse. It was just like he was just letting me know that he's not going to come on the show. Is basically what happened there, which is weird because anyway,
he probably makes tons of money doing what he's doing. We don't make shit.
He was making a lot of money until the YouTube adpocalypse that started about a year and a half ago. Any YouTuber that was making a living, their income has been decreased by at least 80% because YouTube is a bunch of... I've said a lot of cuss words today, but I'm not going to say that one. Yeah, YouTube sucks, and they
just
have
like anything. They made it really good up front.
Yeah,
and everybody jumped on. YouTube took over the market, and now they can fucking.
Well, what
go back.
Well, what happened is, basically, like let's take a wild example. Is imagine like you're looking up, you go on YouTube and you type. I don't know. Let's say, okay, here we go. Let's say you want to pull up a Hillary Clinton speech, right? But then before the Hillary Clinton video, there's a commercial of Trump. There's a Trump commercial before the Hillary Clinton video to make a drastic example of it. So that was happening in less exaggerated ways. Like different companies were having their competitors' commercials pop up before their video starts.
Funny.
And so a bunch of big corporations decided to not work with YouTube anymore. And because of that, YouTube overreacted and made all these crazy restrictions. And long story short, every YouTuber, as you call it, is struggling right now because of that. But anyway,
yeah, I heard. Go ahead. What were you going to melt my mind about?
Yeah,
here?
So here's what I was going to melt your mind about. First of all, my cigarette went out again. Can you believe that? Here we go. All right, so here's the thing about the map, Google Earth, the geography that we understand to be true, the Earth that we think that we know where everything is. You really have to go back to about the 30s or 40s. So today, we all rely on GPS. Everybody. We all use GPS every fucking day. We've got it on our phones. And then before we had it on our phones, you actually used to be able to buy GPS devices before they integrated that into phones. And here's the thing about GPS that most people don't know. The GPS was invented by NATO. Not just the military industrial complex. NATO, which means all of the military industrial complexes of every country is all governed by NATO. And NATO that's the people who created GPS. So to put this another way, if there were extra plots of land on the earth that they didn't want you to know about, they could easily, without any problem, hide it from you and me by putting out things like Google Earth and making you think that's all there is on the earth. There's no other land. It's just nothing but water over here. When in fact, I'm just letting you know, you don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to believe me. I'm just telling you, there is more land on this earth than they're letting us know. And that's pretty much it. And there's a lot of fuckery.
Like a whole fucking continent or like islands?
Well, first of all, to actually back this up with some proof, both. First of all, to answer your question. Second of all, so when you look at ancient maps, there's the very famous Perry Reese map that Graham Hancock talks about a lot. But when he talks about it, he talks about the fact that, this map is from some Turkish guy. He made it up. He made the map back in like 1600 something. And, but he fully depicted Antarctica, not only Antarctica, but what the landscape was below the ice. Like he had every hill, every river, every lake. Like he had it, which, to put this in perspective, we didn't know that any of that was true until the 40s, when the Russians flew over Antarctica with that sonar, whatever it's called, where they were able to see below the ice. But this is like 500 years ago. Some guy actually knew the landscape, but at the same time, he acknowledges on the map that his map was based on a bunch of other people's older maps. And so if you trace it back,
I think that was in the 90s that they first did it, though, wasn't it?
No, it was in the 40s. The Russians were the first ones. We reconfirmed and got a little more clarification in the 90s. I think that's what you're talking about. But the initial landscape under the ice was first discovered by the Russians in the 40s. And did
you hear about, not to change the subject too much, but just in the last couple of years, they found the huge, on Greenland, underneath the ice, they found a huge meteor impact. Have you heard about that?
Wait, Greenland or Iceland?
Greenland.
See,
Yeah, the icier one is Greenland, right? The bigger one.
isn't that kind of ironic? Greenland is the one that's covered in
Yes,
ice, and then Iceland is the one that you can live at.
correct. Yeah,
Like,
it's a huge meteor impact. They found it right underneath the ice.
yeah.
Including this huge gorge. It's beautiful. Like if the ice wasn't there, it'd just be a beautiful piece of land.
Yeah. And yeah, I totally forgot about that until you just brought that up. Uh oh,
Yeah, there's
okay. Anyway,
like the Grand Canyon. It's like it's huge. It's beautiful. Anyways, go ahead about Antarctica.
yeah, so well what I was getting at is talk to Graham Hancock, talk to whoever you want to. They'll tell you what I'm about to tell you right now. If you don't believe me, go and look them up on YouTube and listen to them say it if that's what it takes. But what they will tell you is the older the maps get, the more accurate they are, which is the exact opposite of how it should be. How do people 2,000 years ago know the latitude and longitude of lands that we didn't even discover until like the 1900s better than we could even describe them 70 years ago? How is that fucking possible? Well, apparently, people have been a lot smarter and have been here for a lot longer than we're told. Once again, going back to like Michael Cremo and all that stuff. But here's the part of the Perry Reese map that nobody talks about. Yes, they have the Antarctica perfectly mapped. Yes, that is very fascinating. It's a huge mystery, absolutely. But they also have on the same fucking map on the North Pole, they depict basically a continent, but if you really look at it, it's 4 separate mini continents that have rivers in between it, but it's kind of sort of a continent, I guess you can say. It's called Mount Meru. If you want to look this up, look up Mount Meru. How do you spell that? I don't know, but you can figure it out. Mount Meru. And once again, all these older maps, they all have these 4 different land masses at the North Pole. But if you go to Google Earth right now, they don't show you that. They cover it up. They just make you think it's just a bunch of water, basically. Not to mention that NATO has made it illegal internationally for any country, any airline to fly anywhere near that area. You have to fly around it. Why the fuck would they do that? And also, why the fuck are there maps going back thousands of years depicting land over there? Do you see what I'm saying? See what's going on here?
Bunch of flat earthers talking about Mount Meru.
Yeah, no, fuck the flat earthers. I mean, well, hold on, let me take that back. Fuck them. But here's the thing about those flat earthers is they have some good points. They're pointing out some realistically curious mysteries that nobody is talking about, but it has nothing to do with the earth being flat around or anything. And that's the problem with what they're doing is they have some really good points, but they're waving these points under this flat earth flag, which makes nobody's going to listen to what they're saying because they're trying to use this.
I could see the government's doing that, hiding something like that. I could see it.
Oh, it's happening. This
is cool. You told me about this. I've never heard about this. This is interesting.
Oh, there's, I already started a notepad of links that I want to send you. I'm going to add another one. It's actually a pretty famous story that nobody knows about. So I guess it's not really famous. It's infamous, I guess. But yeah, there was a dude and his kid that I think they rode off from Norway or somewhere around there, and they were trying. I don't know. They were looking for something else, but they ended up going to Mount Meru. And there was. Here's another fun fact. If you don't buy any of this shit, Admiral Richard Byrd, the guy that led Operation High Jump in Antarctica, most people know him because of the Antarctica expedition that he led. What most people don't know is in his diary that was released by his son after he died, he goes into full detail about going to the North Pole and finding exactly what I'm talking about, Mount Meru. Not only finding the land, he describes interacting with a different race of people that had crazy technology at the time. And then he also fully describes how, as soon as he got back, they had a meeting with the Pentagon. And long story short, I don't know if you guys know most people know all the stuff about Admiral Richard Byrd, but they don't know that at the end of his life, the government forced him into a mental hospital until he died because he was trying to talk about this shit. And
he damaged his brain in that fucking winter stayover really bad.
That's what they say.
One of the most famous books ever written. It's called Alone. It's got big blue print.
Yeah.
And he struggled between staying warm and asphyxiating himself all winter long with carbon monoxide poisoning.
Well, that's
a great book, though. You should read it. What? I have that book, and I have an older book, a first edition of his. That's worth a lot of money now, actually.
Wait, who's the author?
Richard Byrd.
Wait, he wrote. I didn't know he wrote an actual book. You mean like a published book?
Oh yeah. Well, it's one of the top 10 best adventure stories of all time. Is Alone. It's a huge seller at the time. He stayed by himself over the winter by himself out on the South Pole, or not on the pole, but way in there. He had to be rescued.
Are you sure you're not talking about the diary?
Yeah, I'm talking about his book Alone. Look up Admiral Byrd, Alone. It's one of the most famous adventure books ever.
I am so fucking surprised that I have never heard about this.
It's fantastic. I have it right here.
Okay, well, on the flip side of that, have you read his diary that his son published after he died?
No,
okay.
I haven't.
Well, we both have our equal...
I know that he said he flew over that green area in South, and all that stuff. Who knows? A lot of people thought, well, either two things are happening. Either he saw it and they're trying to cover it up, or he went nuts after that and he was trying to make money. So who knows?
Well, that's the thing is after he went to what I just referred to as Mount Meru, when he came back and they had a Pentagon meeting, and as soon as that meeting happened, he was put into a mental institution, and that's where he died. They kept him there. Which
would happen if you had somebody come back and say that they saw this Mount Meru that was a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, but he was the most respected guy in the military of all time at that time. Like, he was the most legitimate person.
Until after Alone came out. He damaged his brain really bad. Really, really bad.
Wait, hold on. So, you're going to have to explain. What do you mean? How did he damage his brain really bad? What happened?
Well, the stove in the place he was staying, the carbon, it wasn't set up right, and he could only heat himself, that's what Alone's about. Just him trying to stay alone alive in this shack without completely killing himself all winter long.
Wait, where was this?
Antarctica.
Okay.
Just Google search Alone, Admiral Byrd.
I don't think they ever built a shack in Antarctica. Did they?
Oh, yeah.
Back then?
He lived on it. They had to save him. He had a radio. He was talking to him, so.
All right. Well, I obviously am missing some information here that I never heard. Yeah, I need to.
It's one of the best-selling adventure books ever.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. You look up his diary that his son released after he died, and then I will look into that, and then we'll come back here one day and
sounds good,
and reconnect and pick up where we left off here.
Yeah,
how about that?
I do know that he kind of went. They say that he went crazy, and then his stories got crazier and crazier, and then they put him in an institution. He was trying to make money.
Yeah, but that's the thing is he now I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure after the whole Mount Meru North Pole lost land thing that he experienced, which also there was like another guy with him too. He didn't talk about that for a while. But then a few years later, he finally, I guess, whatever, he was compelled, he was like, I gotta, because apparently whoever runs that continent over there, they told him to tell his people to stop fucking around with all the nuclear weapons and all that shit. And from what I understand, he waited quite a while, and then he finally... Because I think if this is true, I would assume it's because I think he knew what would happen to him if he said some shit like that. But then finally he did say it, and then guess what happened? Exactly what he thought would happen. And they put him in that mental place, and that's where he died.
I think he went crazy when he poisoned himself. But that's just me. But it's possible. Who knows? It's a great
honestly,
story.
It is a great story, to say the very least. But
the most amazing thing about the whole thing is when they brought that whole armada down to Antarctica. Why?
Exactly.
And why did they flee?
Why?
They found something. And
why did 1,000 people die during that expedition? What
Yeah.
They sent several fucking cruise ships with all, not cruise ships, but battleships and all kinds of troops. Like 1/4 of the whole team of thousands of people died.
Did they ever explain it? Did they ever explain what the fuck was going on? No.
Richard did. He explained it. He told everybody what happened. They were attacked.
Didn't they say they fought with the aliens?
They were attacked by flying crafts that were maneuvering. What we would call flying saucers today is what he described. And it's pretty fucking clear, and that...
They turned tail and ran. That's what it seemed like. I know. That whole thing is just crazy.
Yeah,
the whole story is amazing.
They got
There's
stopped
photos of it.
really hard. Yeah, and what's ironic is nobody disputes his story about that, but everybody disputes his story about the North Pole. That's where I'm coming from. Really?
Mount Meru. I'll check.
How can you not, if you're believing that? How are you not believing that? You know what I mean? But anyway,
I have to tell you, you have to read Alone. You have to read it. It's a small book.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it, and
get the blueprint. The blueprint one is, they remade it when it first came out. It was in blueprint, and everybody loved it. And then it went to regular print, and then I think it was about 1996 or something. They re-released it in the blueprint. Look for that one. It's great.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of ashamed that I didn't know about this. So I'm very glad that you turned me on to that. I'm definitely going to look that up.
It's definitely his best book. I mean, it was a huge top seller.
All right. Well, in return,
all the shit he went through, and he documented everything because he had nothing better to do. It's so you start reading, you can't put it down. You cannot put it down.
Oh, I bet. But in return, you have to look into Mount Meru and that whole North Pole continent that everybody seems to have forgotten, if it even was there in the first place. Now, with that said, we've wow, it's actually giving me a warning. Yeah, we're about to wow, we almost did 3 hours. We're about 4 minutes away from doing 3 hours, which means we have to stop this in the next 4 minutes. So,
well, you got to be excited for your show then.
All right.
Glad I could.
And yeah, dude, I'm glad we did this. This was a great conversation. Honestly, I thought we were just gonna get on here and talk a bunch of shit with like JP and other people, but we actually ended up having a very great conversation for almost 3 hours. So
it didn't seem like it was that long.
It really doesn't. The only reason I know that it is because I'm only allowed to broadcast for 3 hours at a time, and I only have 3 minutes left, which I can only conclude that we've been going for 3 hours. So, with that said, do you have any sort of, anything you want to promote, social media, any websites? What are you doing? Is there any...
I'm just looking forward to your show tomorrow, and you being on with Wolfman will be fun. Monster Castle's back, I hope.
It's kind of back. Yeah, it's kind of back. It's basically
see if we
back.
Can keep it on. Keep it on there for a bit.
Yeah, I'm rooting for that guy. I really am, and I'm that's why I'm gonna help him out tomorrow on his show. But like you said, obviously I do have my show before that, so I've got a full tilt boogie mode day tomorrow as far as shows go. With that said,
I want to try to get a lot of people into the Monster Castle Discord too. It could be fun.
Oh, does he have his own Discord?
Yeah, don't you? You don't? I thought you were in there. Aren't you in there?
I'm in the Internet Somalia Discord, but not the other one. But hey, hold on.
Another one.
We have to end the show right now, but we don't have to stop talking. So we'll hang out for a minute after the show, but I have to wrap this up right now. So I'm going to mute you real quick, and we'll talk in a minute, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everybody. And once again, that's Darren and OG Darren from Internet Somalia. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to get out of here right this very now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to this B-side episode of Shift Happens. The show is hosted and produced by yours truly, Gigi. That's me. And actually, realistically, I do everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and give all credits to me. And but special thanks to Darren for joining me tonight. We had a really good conversation. That was awesome. And I've got some research to do, apparently. So, which I will do. With that said, we'll see you guys tomorrow on the regular show. And like we just mentioned, I will be on Wolfman's show after our show tomorrow. All right, folks. We'll see you later. Cheers.